December 18th, 2019. Joe here at Simple Life Show, where the simplest answers are usually the best. I appreciate everybody for joining me today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do all that good social media stuff to keep the rational voices out in front where they belong. If this is your first time here, I really appreciate you coming. This is where rational voices and the center of everything really takes a foothold, because we have a divide in this nation where the left is not talking to the right's not talking to the left. We need to have more voices in the middle that are seeing things from a rational point of view. I would consider myself more right-leaning, but I used to be a Democrat, so therefore that's why I'm here. It's because I can see different points of view, and I can kind of disseminate that and break it down for you, and that's why I created this channel. So here recently, December 18th, 2019, a hospital trust introduced disposable hijabs for Muslim doctors. Some can see this as being offensive or something like that. And I know there's people out there that can look at that and say, well, why are they doing this and stuff, you know, but I really don't see a problem with this. And this is a sanitary issue. And as long as it's sanitary, I don't have a problem with it. The only thing of the Muslim faith that I have an issue with is extremism, fundamentalism, where it involves violence. As far as headwear, I don't personally like the burqas where you can only see the eyes, just from a security standpoint of view. If you're wearing something like that and something happens and you need to be identified, then that becomes a problem, you know, for law enforcement officials and stuff like that. But of course, this is just a sanitary issue, so it's not really a big thing going forward. And that's not why I brought this up, because it's a non-story. The reason why I brought it up is because the fact is that the Christian religion is under attack, and it has been under attack for a while. I know that, MSNBC, CNN, a lot of the liberal left-leaning media out there is trying to stamp down this idea, trying to introduce this as a conspiracy theory that the Christians are bringing up. But I don't believe it's a conspiracy theory when we have literally thousands and thousands and thousands of different types of examples, on top of thousands and thousands of bodies that are being stacked up every single year from Christians that are being oppressed in their own countries. Of course, we can only see things here in the United States or the UK, if that's where you are at, because this was from the UK. But we can only see things in a vacuum. We can only see things from the environment that we're around. We're not seeing things from a worldwide perspective, and I think that's sometimes the problem. And even on a micro scale, we can't see liberals from their point of view, because they do have their own point of view. And, you know, regardless if you like to believe it or not, they do have their own set of values and beliefs that they are passionate about, and they do have some sort of they do have some points. Now, I used to be a Democrat. I walked away from the Democratic Party. I would consider myself a conservative, not a fundamental conservative, but I consider myself a right-leaning conservative, a libertarian. I have completely switched sides, but I have retained a lot of the perspective from the Democratic Party. So the hijabs, I don't have a problem with this. Now, there have been a lot of brave women that have come forward from the Muslim community that have taken off their hijabs and thrown them to the ground as a symbol of oppression. There's a lot of Muslim women who feel the hijab is a symbol of oppression and a subjugation to the male patriarchy and their so-called male masters over in the Middle East. And that's just their society. We can say it's absolutely wrong, and I think from a fundamental point of view, from an objective point of view, from just, you know, if I was God himself, then yes, that would be wrong. You know, I try to view everything from a very objective point of view. And from objective moral point of view, that's something wrong to subjugate women in any way. They are equals. They're humans just like anyone else, and we need to kind of get over this. So this really isn't about that. Now, there has been businesses that have been getting in on this whole hijab thing, and that's one of the it's a problem, but it's not a problem to me. But one of the problems that I do have is that we're having some issues where the hijab's actually turning into a kind of a fashion statement now. I think this is kind of hypocritical for the feminist movement to be looking on this as a fashion statement or as standing in solidarity with the women who do wear hijabs. Number one, the majority of the people who are doing this, they're not Muslim, okay? So it should be offensive. It's almost like if someone was just like, oh, I'm going to stand in solidarity with the Christians, so I'm going to start wearing crosses all the time, even though I don't believe Jesus ever existed or anything like that. Which I believe, there's a lot of historical evidence for Jesus being existed in history, but that's not what this is about. It would be just as a ridiculous a thing if they did that. Now, if a company wants to, just like the Toronto Raptors, if they want to promote this, that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with it either. But when you're kind of using that as a fashion statement or sitting in solidarity, it's kind of hypocritical for people to do that, especially when they don't understand that what that actually means on its head. So excuse the pun there. So moving forward, there has been a lot of prosecution of Christians. And I know that mass media, especially the left-leaning media, will tell you that this is a conspiracy theory, that there is no real war on Christians. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is a war on religion in totality, because this is what I've been talking about throughout a lot of my videos that I've been putting up. That the part of the communist plan and the ideal of communism, socialism going forward, is the removal of the self, the personal self in society. And part of that personal self is believing in a creator, that you are beyond just your material body. And we could get into quantum physics and theology and stuff like that, but we're not going to do that. That is part of a society that keeps it truly in balance when we believe that we are, and we have faith that we are more than our material bodies. We're more than just animated meat sacks, because if we truly believe that we are just animated meat sacks, that is how you get a lot of the mass shooters out there, the people that have no regard for human life, that believe that we all evolved from pond scum, and that all we are is this meatless bags of flesh, and that's it. That all there is the material world, but that is the goal of communism, is to create a type of subservient population to their master. So we're all kind of wearing metaphorical hijabs at that point, and we're all kind of subservient to the master state, who tells us what to believe and who to worship. And we'll be worshiping the state because they provide everything to us. So that is the goal of the communist state, right? To remove all this stuff. So there is a war on religion in a totality, but more so, I believe, in Christianity, because Christians have always been seen as the rebels of the religious spectrum. They have kind of done their own thing, right? They look at how many denominations there are of Christianity. Look at how the different beliefs and the following of Jesus, because Jesus was basically the ultimate rebel when it comes to not so much religion, but also just living as a human being, to let go of the worldly desires and follow Jesus, and to love one another as yourself, and to resist the temptations of the world, and to live a pious life, and to live a happy life as well. But this isn't a speech or a sermon or anything like that. But I really believe that the Christian religion is being attacked because it is a rebel type of religion, just as much as the patriots out there that live in bunkers and stuff like that. The communist state, those and the elite, knows that the last religion to ever fall would be Christianity, because of how resilient the Christians are. You see this in communist countries, especially in China and North Korea and stuff like that, where Christianity is all but banned. You have state-run type of Christian that are allowed, churches that are allowed, but they basically tell you what you can and cannot teach within that structure. So a lot of people are going underground to teach the Christian religion to those who are willing to listen, and those who would be willing to lose their lives just to preach the Christian religion. And I have, I'm sorry if you can hear that. I actually have air sirens going off. This happens in Ohio probably once every few days or so, that we have a military base around here. So that's what happens. So what I truly believe, what I think is really the rational conclusion to a lot of this is that Christianity is being attacked for that very reason. Not so much that Christians are, everyone hates Christmas and stuff like that, and Christmas carols are just annoying, but they're trying to forward this idea that's a conspiracy theory. Whenever you hear not just left-leaning media, but whenever you hear media in general try to convince you that something is a conspiracy theory, that is what you need to research right then and there. You need to devote a lot of your time that you're spending on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, besides watching videos like mine that are telling you to do this, but you need to research a lot of this stuff. That way you can have a better understanding of why they are doing that. So it's I'm sorry for the lengthy kind of explanation, but I just really want to get my point across when it comes to this, because this is one of the things that I'm truly passionate about, is that we really need to stop persecuting all religions in general. Let people do what they're going to do, as long as they're not hurting anybody, as long as they're not asking for special treatment all the time. That's fine. The problem I have is when everyone starts to ask for special treatment and everybody acts like a victim all the time. That is what I have a problem with. And that's why I left the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party is nothing but victims now. They want to just spread this victimization out so everyone can just simply be a victim, and they can just have their own little group identity politics, and they can have their own little identity. And that way we can be, divided at all times. And that's really the way that you corrupt and destroy a society, is by ununite or dividing the populace. So I was thinking going forward, it's like, okay, well, why don't we just focus on the cross, right? Let's just focus on the cross. It only took me like literally 2 minutes to find 20 different things just within the last year of where the cross in Christianity has been kind of condemned and attacked and oppressed and stuff like that. This is a real thing. So I'm sure you remember the nurse. Now this wasn't from this year, but this was one of the most high profile cases for the crucifix, at least for nurses. And I looked at nurses because that was the first thing we talked about, was the hijab for nurses. So she lost her case back in 2010. That went to, and this was something else that was in the UK, I believe, and she lost her case because she had refused to hide her crucifix. And I guess she decided to appeal, but I couldn't find anything where she had won the appeal or something like that. It was a defamation case, and I don't think that she was. I don't think that really went anywhere. Here going forward this year, teacher on leave after telling fourth grader to wash cross off forehead for Ash Wednesday. If you know anything about Ash Wednesday, that is where you go to church and they put the ash on your forehead in the form of a cross. And so, yeah, that was a pretty big story, and that was back, I believe, in April 1st, March or April, at March 7th, I believe. Going forward, I'm just going to kind of go through these in kind of rapid fire succession here. Christianity crackdown. Church told to remove cross as it is unauthorized construction. And this was in Egypt as well. So this is all over the world. Crosses are coming down. So let's get rid of that. This is from persecution.org. Egyptian church told to remove bell tower and cross. So that's pretty much the same story. National Assembly votes to remove cross. I believe this was from Montreal. A lot of people were upset about this. This was from March 2019. And so, yeah, that the cross has been hanging. The National Assembly of Montreal has been removed. And a lot of people were actually upset about that. But it actually moved forward, and it was removed. Let me see. Sorry, there's a lot of pop-ups here. Let me see. So this one, Irish government report recommends removal of crucifixes from Catholic hospitals. Now that's kind of strange, since it's a Catholic hospital, and most Catholic hospitals, at least what it used to be, it wasn't publicly or government funded. But I'm assuming since since it was from Ireland, I think that a lot of hospitals out there are government funded. So I don't know. You decide. All I see is crosses being removed. Italy, here, a minister attacks crucifixes in schools. This was Italian Bishops' Conference has condemned the proposal of the Italian Education Minister to remove crucifix from public school classrooms. So they're really starting to crack down on this, especially on the education system, where they are trying to push this communist type of ideology. We can't really have crucifixes in school and any kind of religious symbolism or anything like that when we're trying to force down not only evolution and stuff like that, which I believe there is not enough substantial evidence for, but also the communist ideology. And of course, that is just something that goes along with the infiltration of free societies. You have to remove the religious symbols. You have to remove that from the forefront and from people's minds. From the BBC here, May 12, 2009, should this cross be removed from public land? I'm sure you've probably seen this cross here. I think that it is a World War II memorial, I believe. Let me see. It says, you may not have heard much about this tussle of the Peace Cross, a 40-foot granite Latin cross plonked incongruously in the middle of a busy intersection in Maryland. So, yeah, that's, there's just a lot of examples of that. Moving forward here from the crux, I think this is a Catholic kind of journal here. Catholic hospitals in Ireland could be asked to remove religious symbols. Moving forward here, Salvini slams removal of meatless tortellini, no crucifixes. Going forward here from ABC, to a Supreme Court to decide fate of cross-shaped that was World War I memorial, and that was the one in Maryland as well. So the Supreme Court, I believe they already did rule on this. I think that they're allowed to keep it, but the fact that it went to court is really what the main point is. So this is a relatively, it's not a new one. It's from January 2019. The McJesus sculpture of Ronald McDonald as crucifix outrages Israeli Christians. So we see this crucifix here, of course, with Ronald McDonald on there. Now, this is another thing that I really want to talk about here briefly, is just simply because a lot of facets of the Christian religion are mocked on a daily basis. Christianity is mocked highly, very highly, and very unbiasedly. You don't see this with any other religion. You definitely do not see this with Islam. You do not see that. Now there was people, I guess you could point to cartoons of Muhammad and stuff like that, but that's very questionable. There's been there's cartoons every day of Jesus. I mean, we just talked about a new Netflix special where it portrayed Jesus as a gay man and Mary as a drug addict or pot smoker or whatever. This is just another example of the degradation of society, of course, more specifically degradation and the humiliation, pointed at the Christian religion here. Tell the bishop in Innsbruck to remove blasphemous crucifix from the hospital church in Innsbruck. Of course, this is seen as blasphemous. It's seen as offensive. Everything that's Christian is seen as offensive. The more that those who are in power that want to forward this communist type of ideology will continue this conspiracy theory and offensiveness and stuff. We want to keep that in the back of your mind as much as possible. That way, when you're at church, you automatically, when you see the crucifix, now you see it as offensive, and then you start thinking that the whole religion is offensive, and then you're lost. I don't care what religion you are. Hold on to God. Hold on to a higher power, because that is what truly matters in this world right now, especially as lost as it is. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Everybody out there, I don't care what religion you are, whether you're a Jew or you're a Buddhist, whether you're agnostic, whether you're an atheist. Pray that you're spaghetti God. I hope that you do find some sort of meaning to your life, because living a purely materialistic life based on absolutely nothing and pure chaos is not a way to live life, and it's not in congruence with the evidence, especially when we talk about quantum evidence, historical paleontology. When we start talking about all this type of stuff that is really leaning towards a creator. Now, we can talk about religion all day long, but we're not going to do that. So moving forward here, Christians, parents furious after schools remove Lord Jesus from Christmas Carol. This was from yesterday. For more than a decade, liberals have insisted on the war on Christmas does not exist other in the minds of conservatives, as we were just talking about. It is the conspiracy theory, right? They have insisted they have no words with the Christian holiday, even though many businesses have removed the word Merry Christmas from the lexicon of favor of happy holidays. We are getting to the point here now. Christmas is a joined together two words of Christ Mass. It's a celebration. It's a remembrance of Jesus on the cross. This is not really something for elves and Saint Nick and stuff. This is simply why I don't personally celebrate Christmas for that reason alone, because it's very commercialized. People do not see Christmas for what it really is, and it's all about consumerism. I mean, all you got to do is go to a Best Buy on Black Friday to see what I'm talking about. and to see, pretty much all the Christmas shopping and putting up trees in your house, which is a paganistic, type of, thing that you do for different pagan religions, and somehow got intertwined with this whole Christmas thing. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't celebrate it as it is written, I guess, for consumers. Finally, what I want to get around to, and really what this is all about, is that Christians are being attacked worldwide. They're being killed worldwide. Now, I know Muslims are being killed worldwide as well. This is a huge problem. This is a huge problem for people who are being murdered just simply because they have a faith in something or they have a different faith than you. This is a very, very big problem. And the left is over here in the mass media saying, oh, it's all a conspiracy theory, that the Christians are not under attack and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know what? You're absolutely wrong. And that is what's truly offensive, is when a lot of the people in the liberal, left-leaning, progressive, woke media simply can't see outside their bubble to see that the Christians are literally having their heads cut off. They are being thrown in prison. We just recently got back a valued member of our own society from Turkey, who he had been in prison, I believe, for at least a year and a half, if not longer, and he got back through the efforts of President Trump. But no one gives him that credit anyway, because he released a Christian minister. Who cares, right? He would have died in prison if it wasn't for Trump, because Obama wasn't going to do anything. I believe he was in there when Obama was still in office. So if that tells you something, I don't know. If that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what will. But, ISIS is still an issue. A lot of these terrorist groups are still an issue. They're still killing Christians. They're bombing Christians. They're bombing churches left and right. You don't hear a lot about this in the mass media. You have to actually go out there and look at it. Christians under attack worldwide at a rapidly rising rate. This was from 2019, April 2019. So, I mean, those are actually counting the dead bodies. They're the ones that are reporting on this. They're the ones that are saying, you know what, there's something really going on here. So we need to really need to pay attention. I really hope that Trump actually does look into this. I'm sure he has. I know that the president cannot do everything. What we can actually do on our end is to be more open with each other, so this type of stuff does not happen here. That is how you prevent it from spreading. You have to stop this cancer from spreading. You have to stop this whole I hate you because you believe in God type of nonsense. Okay? I don't care if someone's an atheist. I can have a really good conversation with someone about other stuff. Now, if they truly wanted to go down the road and debate the existence of God, I will go down that road with them. And 9 times out of 10, I will destroy them. If they just simply stay on point and not even bring up religion in general, because religion's another topic. Religion is something that's very, very different. It's very personal. But the simple theist, just basically on the idea of just theism and believing in a supreme being and a creator and intelligent design, that is something that's completely different. So I'm going to leave it there. I'll leave you with this thought, just like what I told you before. It's not about what religion you are. It's about keeping a faith in something that's higher than yourself, because, number one, we are not meatless, animated meat bags. We are more than what we are, people. And I know if you're listening to this, I hope I can get through to you, because I know that there's a lot of disparity out there. I know there's a lot of despondency out there. People are looking for meaning, and they might try find meaning in stuff, in consumerism. You will never find meaning in buying things. That is why I am a minimalist, and I'm also a theist, and I would consider myself at least a Christian as well. So with that, I'll leave you. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great one. Bye.